All right, and we're live, everybody. Thank you for joining our room. Quickly, just wanted to introduce our some of the founders here. We got Andre from Nuzama. Say hello, Andre.
Hello, good morning, good evening.
There you go. We've got people joining us from around the world. Ian Jones from Carbon Asset Solutions.
Hello, everyone.
And Andreas Homer from Ariel. Welcome, Andreas. I will jump. We are missing a founder. Always, last minute dramas. Simon, who will be joining us shortly. But I will switch to speaker view and start kick off the questions. And I will start with the team at Nuzama. And what I do encourage the audience to do as we go through this process is to make sure that you're voting with your coins, you're getting in touch with these founders, asking questions along the way, and keeping it interactive. I'll start with Nuzama and Andre. Let's start with you, mate. So, what is the plastics marketplace and its goal? Please let me know.
Well, the plastics marketplace is essentially the ability for recyclers to mint, list, and sell what we call single-use packaging recycling guarantees by converting their data from their activity of waste collection, sorting, and revaluation to prove that they have collected a specific amount of plastic and convert that data into an NFT. Combine that data with artists' work, whether algorithmically generated, local artists or international artists, so they can have what we call a single-use packaging guarantee, which is an NFT that proves that no waste has gone into the environment. Incredible. And of course, the producers of plastics, the consumer brands, can buy those guarantees to offset their plastic production and also to prove their commitment to the environment and to create social engagement models.
Let me ask, and then what will make your NFT market? There's a lot of NFT marketplaces out there. What's going to make yours stand out against the others?
The technology behind the plastics marketplace is allowing recycling data to be verified and to make sure that the NFT is being minted with real verifiable data, and that allows a tracking up to the origin point combined with waste management agencies' data to make sure that there is no discrepancy between yearly declarations and the amount of NFTs that are being produced. So as our technology is really differentiating in making sure that there's a verification process.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Andre, but it was the minting happened at the point of invoice. Is that correct?
Yes, Chris. Yes. So recyclers make money two ways. They make money by collecting waste from municipal governments and private entities. And then they make money by sorting and separating that waste. And the waste that has a value as a prime resource or a feedstock, they're selling. If you're selling something, that means you have something. If you're selling something, that means you need to invoice. If you invoice, that means you need to pay taxes. So that is the proof that you've actually collected something and that something hasn't gone into the environment. So we are allowing the recyclers to convert their invoices into NFTs and combining that with art.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, so that was the next question, very next question I had for you, right? Because I hadn't heard, of anyone that was minting at the invoice level until I came across, but makes perfect sense. Now the art kind of angle is also quite unique, right? So does that become something I can put on the wall to tell everyone that I removed so much, plastic from the ocean, like almost like a trophy on display? How does the art work?
Well, the concept of the art is actually to create an emotional digital engagement model that is very powerful with the act of recycling. That's why we call it the art of recycling. You don't have an emotional relationship with data. You have an emotional relationship with art. You don't relate to data, you relate to art. And if art is grounding in real recycling data, it makes it so much powerful for you to communicate. It makes it so much powerful, you as a consumer, to relate to the organization that is communicating their commitment to the environment. So you can build emotional digital engagement models based off of the art aspect of the recycling data.
Absolutely. And then what is the like the long-term value of the platform? How can you assure that the plastics platform will be used in future?
Part of the plastics project, it consists of, on the global level, having relationships with waste management agencies so that we can have data APIs that are able to validate all of the information being created by recyclers across the world, to the point where a Kenyan recycler can mint an NFT regarding polypropylene or PP5 and sell this NFT to a German company, Unilever, Procter & Gamble, for example, those major consumer brands that would need to offset their plastic production, would need to show their commitment to the environment, and most importantly, would need to build an engagement model based on the grounding of plastic being recovered and not being thrown into the environment. So the fact that a Kenyan company can do that, the fact that a Latin American company can do that, the fact that a North American company can buy this is the back office of plastics. And this is the grounded value as to why we think we'll be here for many, many years.
Just a final question. We've got a couple of startups obviously to cover today, and I'm taking this from the audience. Got Rory there. Good to see you, Rory. Said it wasn't quite clear on how the smart chain is deployed. Is it in the plastic packaging? Can you describe the NFT life cycle and how the value is captured, transferred in the process? Great question, Rory.
Yes, thank you, Rory, for that question. So the NFT is created at the moment of the recycler uploading their invoicing data. Invoicing data means the invoice number, it means the type of plastic that has been recovered, and in this case, sold, and it's the amount of plastic. That's uploaded with, of course, the recycler's information, their ISO certification reference numbers, their tax ID numbers, and all of this information, which is what we call the authorship process of the NFT creation. Now, at that point, there is a selection process that is two ways. Either the recycler selects art or the artist selects the recycler. And then the combined effort is the creation of an NFT, which is reflecting 1 ton, for example, of polypropylene has not gone into the environment. So we essentially created a guarantee that 1 ton of polypropylene has not gone into the environment, and this is grounded in real data. The producer will buy this NFT because what they need to do is they need to make sure that 1 ton has not gone into the environment. And if they're using polypropylene in their single-use packaging product, they can offset this credit. That's how that is done. If you want to offset it, you need to retire it. You can't resell it over and over again. So you put it into your collection. However, since it's an NFT and it's in your collection, at that point, you can leverage the artistic aspect of the emotional digital engagement model so that you can build your marketing plans, you can prove your commitment to the environment. That is how the NFT as a single-use packaging guarantee is deployed.
Really, really impressive stuff, Andre. I think we're moving on to Ian, but before we do that, please show your support for Andre with your coins. If you want to get in touch to learn more about Nizama, make sure you're using the form there on the Startup Bootcamp landing page and getting in touch. Yeah, awesome work, Andre.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Ian, glad to have you on board. For everyone, once again, feel free to throw your questions in the Q&A. I'll be taking them from time to time as we go. And I'll kick it off here, Ian, with, Carbon Asset Solutions is focused on atmospheric carbon removal. Why are you different?
Chris, we're different because basically we solved a problem that's remained unsolved for well over 20 years, and that is how to make soil carbon sequestration a viable climate solution. So the obvious question is, why is that important? It's because soil carbon sequestration removes more atmospheric carbon more cost effectively than any other method, which means it has the potential to be a major carbon credit supply chain. And carbon credit supply chains are the new value systems in the emerging net zero economy. So when we kind of discovered that the problem existed, we were puzzled as to why nobody had figured it out, let alone solve it. So we set out to solve it. And the big aha moment came when we understood that the problem needed to be tackled as an end-to-end measurement, recording, and verification pipeline. Everybody else had just been kind of nibbling away or fiddling with this part of it or that part of it. But all that ended up doing was there was still a problem that existed. So we set out to build an entirely new, fully digital supply chain from scratch. And that's what we've done. So we use a combination of technologies. We use patented precision measurement technology to give an accurate recording, which is many orders of magnitude better than anything else. It does it instantly and a fraction of the cost. And what that does, it eliminates the uncertainty that has made soil carbon credits unattractive for the financial markets. We then record that in a secure ledger, and that eliminates double accounting and the greenwashing. We can also, because we use a blockchain ledger, we can also add a whole lot of SDG data to each carbon credit, which is what companies are looking for in their future for their ESG reporting to the markets. And then we built a whole new digital audit system software that replaces all the existing current, slow, costly, inefficient models that really haven't changed for decades. I mean, the way we saw it, there's almost everything today is part of a digital world, and it didn't make any sense to us that carbon credit supply chains, which are the powering force behind the net zero economy, should be based on decades old analog or manual systems. So that's why we focus on building a digital system for the future. And we've been told we are the only precision digital measurement, recording, verification pipeline at this point in time. And it's probably because of this completely novel approach that, you know, we've started to attract attention from some of the world's biggest banks and corporations, and including, we're pleased to say, the SBC partners here, Mitsubishi and NYK, who we've engaged in very fruitful discussions so far.
Ian, so I did want to ask, you know, you've had a number of companies, successful companies, you know, and now you're on to, you know, your second round of capital with this particular project. What has motivated investors to participate?
Good question. And we've got some very astute investors on our share register. Each of them obviously had, you know, their own specific reasons, but I guess there are a couple of general themes that emerged. The first common thing was that they were looking at climate change through a different lens. They were looking at it as a global economic shift away from carbon as an energy commodity like coal and oil to carbon as a financial services economy, which with the transactional component of that being carbon credits, which, as I said before, which are the power of the net zero economy. So what they were looking for were opportunities within a big global shift. They felt that the emissions reductions world had kind of reached a degree of maturity, but the atmospheric carbon removal sector was really the new game in town, and that was the place for potential unicorns. So that's where they were looking. They knew from their research that soil carbon sequestration, you know, was the biggest pathway to efficient carbon credit supply chains, provided, of course, you can solve the measurement, recording, and verification problems. And, you know, they saw that we had done that. And the other thing they liked was that we built a really strongly protected IP position around precision technologies, protected by patents, proprietary software and systems, something that's, you know, really, really hard to replicate. So adding all these things together means that, you know, we've got the potential as a company to create a dominant position as a key carbon credit supply chain in the emerging markets, which is precisely what we set out to do. Plus, of course, they saw that we had a very seasoned team that has done a lot of leading edge tech launches, including to IPO in the past. So they felt confident that as a team, you know, that we were going to be able to pull it off. So I guess they were the key factors. Absolutely.
And then specifically, you know, why SBC, right? You clearly know what you're doing. Is there some sort of commercial partnerships that you're looking for in particular, you know, the audience here could be helping with?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we were pleased to be asked to participate in the SBC program. You know, even though all of us have been doing startups for in my case, over 30 years, no matter how long you've been doing something, you can always learn something, and you always do. So it's been very fruitful being here. Really, we were very keen on establishing dialogues with the SBC partners, with Mitsubishi and NYK, which we're now doing. We've been talking very actively with them. You know, we're at a commercial stage where we're not quite in the marketplace yet. We will be in the first quarter of next year, initially in Canada and the USA, where we've got operational offices. Then launching very quickly from about March, April in Australia. So we're starting to arrange those commercial partnerships and commercial dialogues where we can assist corporations to plan their net zero strategies with confidence. So yeah, that's why we're here.
I'll take one quick question here. I've got a great question from the audience, and please keep them coming, and you know, and back the startups you love with the currency we provide you. What are some of the you know, I think this is, you know, going to give you a tough one here, Ian. What are some of the regulatory hurdles you have already overcome, and what are others that you will face in the near future? Thanks, Ricardo.
Yeah, interesting question. The regulatory hurdles obviously vary from country to country and even jurisdiction to jurisdiction within countries. Usually they're sort of straightforward licensing laws, so you just have to comply with licensing things. One of the interesting things we're looking at the moment is we are really focused on the emerging voluntary carbon markets. Up to now, they by and large haven't existed, but they're predicted to be the fastest growing financial market on the planet as corporations transition to net zero. At the moment, the governance and compliance framework for those markets doesn't really exist, and it's being formulated now as the market's emerging. And so, you know, we're working closely with some of the global leaders on that, particularly big organizations like Microsoft and others, so that our compliance system, which is under ISO certification standard, is consistent with the emerging governance framework of the financial markets. So by and large, the regulatory hurdles we face are nothing other than, you know, the normal things that most businesses face from time to time, whether they're operating in the financial services market or the transport market or any other market.
Don't have you running scared yet, Ian. Yeah.
No.
Thank you very much, Ian. Really appreciate what you're doing. And please, make sure you're reaching out to Ian if you're interested in carbon asset solutions, partnering, whether that's a partnering or investing. I'm going to move on now to Simon and the team from Handprint. So I'll just grab Simon and I'll start, and then I'll go to the audience with some of this stuff as well. Just quickly, Simon, so you've raised funds from some big partners in Tunes, if I got that right, and Transfer to. What will these funds enable you to do? Just to see I just want to know what's the next steps here, I guess. You're on mute too.
The classic Zoom problem. Hi, everyone. So the funds from Transfer to and Tunes will basically give us about 14 to 16 month runway before our Series A. So we're gonna grow the team. We're currently 21 people. We're gonna grow the team to about 30, maybe 33 people. We're very actively involved now in selecting candidates. I think we have over 600 applications for 10 outstanding positions. So that's all interesting, and that's going well. The main goal of the funds is to kind of advance a variety of the use cases that I briefly introduced. So we're working on this credit card together with IDEMIA, which we're going to be selling to banks, and this would be a credit card that enables customers to choose to round up for the planet. We are integrating with our investors itself, which is what makes them very strategic. So one side, they're going to become a client of ours, and so we're integrating in the remittance space and in the microcredit space in Africa. So with a partner that's doing 30 million transactions a day. So that's going to be really interesting because it's going to test our model, and it's going to test the resilience of our technology as well to be handling such high volumes. And then what we're also going to do is, because of the strategic alignment between what we're doing with this, between what we are doing and what Tunes as an investor is doing, we're going to be able to move money internationally much faster and in a much more transparent way than we can do via the classic banking system, which is really going to give us a moat that's very hard to imitate, because for most other organizations that exist in our space, they all are very reliant, of course, on the international banking system to just transfer money to NGOs to pay for these reforestation projects or other types of positive impact projects. But that system is very slow. That system is intransparent, and that system is very costly. And so we're going to be able to use the Tunes architecture to move that money in a much faster way and actually be able to put money in the pockets of people in Indonesia or Kenya within 5 seconds. And that's going to be really interesting once we can activate those capabilities and integrate them in our services. It's really gonna, I think, boost our competitive advantage in that area.
So really incredible product. Just for your own reference, I did sign up yesterday. I got a little Shopify store. I really love the simplicity of being able to just have that add-on and then give customers the ability to do something nice at point of purchase. So really simple and brilliantly executed. So I'm a fan. Let me keep going with these questions. You claim your dollar to impact ratio is vastly superior to many competitors. How is that possible?
Well, so what we've done is kind of we've gone back to basics. And so if we look at the space, and so if we listen to the previous presenter as well, so within the carbon credit space, we know that there are an incredible amount of expenses that are associated with auditing and verification, and which is why an integrated solution is often a better idea. And so we've done some of our own research on this that was commissioned by the United Nations, that was published in 2019. And our finding was that if you look at the price companies pay for carbon credits, for instance, easily 80% of that money doesn't reach the local communities. And that's because that money goes to sellers, resellers, auditors, validators, like a bunch of intermediaries that are in this space and that are all doing an important part of the work, but that are mainly really inflating the costs a lot. And so what our technology is trying to do is really disintermediate this entire market and enable companies to go directly to the NGOs that are creating the impact, right? So that we can pretty much guarantee that 95% of the money that is being sent to Handprint for Impact is reaching local communities. The only difference may be that there may be banking expenses, which we're going to be able to reduce drastically thanks to our partnership with Tunes. So what we've done is basically kind of taken all the fat out of this existing and these new relationships between NGOs and organizations, and then create a much more layered pricing structure that enables companies to choose the level of verification that they are comfortable with. And so some companies, like typically like a smaller e-commerce company that we serve, isn't necessarily interested in having external validation of the impact. They trust that our technology is good enough, that our partners are trustworthy, and so they don't really require the price to double or triple just to have somebody else say, yes, this is real. While of course some of our banking clients will say, like, no, we will like that this is much cheaper, but we still want to do an audit on a yearly basis of the project that we are supporting, so that we have more kind of certainty, or so that our auditors will be able to verify that these impacts are real. But because we kind of disaggregate that price and say we're sending all of the money to the NGO if you want to have additional services to enhance trust and enhance potentially the external validity of the claims that are being made on the platform. We can do that for you, but it's priced separately. It creates a much bigger portfolio of prices. And so for many of our clients, we realize that the bottom price is the most interesting one. And that's why we can be so much cheaper than everything else in the market.
Thanks, Simon. I've got to take one question, just need a quick response because we've got end with Andreas from Ariel. But just lastly, because I know that this is a big part of your strategy, but why is the mobile so important, instrumental to the product success?
So in the long run, so we're building a mobile app, which is basically going to start out very simple as a unit of account for individuals to be able to keep track of their positive impact. So there's two reasons why we think this is very important. One, in our vision of the future, in a couple of years, when you're applying for a job in a company that makes claims about sustainability, which is probably going to be every company in the world, people are going to ask you, what's your education, what's your experience, and what's your handprint? Right? What have you done for the world that is actually credible and that is good? And so we hope to be the app that enables individuals to just kind of demonstrate what their handprint, their positive impact on the world has been. So that's one thing. Secondly, the way our tech is set up is that through their multiple plugins and through our multiple use cases, we actually can collect incredibly valuable information that link companies to brands, to individuals, consumers, potentially to platforms that intermediate them, and to specific types of impact projects. So we'll have information about what kind of brands consumers want to buy from, and to what extent consumers are interested in specific types of positive impact. And under the assumption that as we move forward this decade and becomes more and more important for companies to demonstrate their environmental prowess and their environmental accolades, it's going to become more and more important for them to attract consumers that also care about those things, because more and more consumers in general will just hopefully become enlightened and start kind of making their decisions of which brands to patron by looking at like environmental aspects. And so we're going to have access to very unique information that individuals will opt into voluntarily. That's at least our strong assumption, because they're going to want to collect their handprint. They're going to want to collect that, okay, they're doing a ride-hailing, they're using a ride-hailing app and they're planting a tree. They're going to be able to kind of draw that information into our app. They're doing a banking transfer, same thing, they're buying something online, same thing. They're going to want to draw that information of all of the companies that are partnering with Handprint into their app. And so as a consequence, they're going to share that information with us. So it's going to give us access to unique data on consumer behavior that we're going to be able to monetize in the future, and then share part of that revenue back with the consumers, so that they can actually benefit from that as well. So that's why I think the mobile app for us is a really big part of our strategy.
Thank you very much, Simon. Really love what you're doing at Handprint. Anyone interested in getting in contact with Simon, please, take the time, fill in the form, vote with your tokens, and love what you're doing. Next up, we have our good friend Andreas from Ariel, and keep the questions coming. I might have opportunity to take a couple, and I wanted to start with, Andreas, I really love the pitch. Super love the fact I see those celebrities up there. I was, I said internally, I said, these guys unicorn right here, and I'm sure you will be. How do you, but specifically around the product, how do you automatically capture carbon emitting activities? So I'm going to start there.
Thanks, Chris. So after you download the app on the App Store and you sign up with your email, where you're travel and transportation receipts are. We show you that comprehensive view of your past, current, and carbon footprint from that point on. And the way that we do this is by parsing out the airport, rideshare, and train departures and destinations. So into the past, so we show you the past 3 years and going forward. And with that departure and destination information, we apply a formula for emissions by transportation type from a leading German NGO called Atmosphere. And we show you that data in app. So each activity has a distance and a carbon kilogram number attached to it. So going forward, the split second that you get a new confirmation email, you get a push notification that says you've got a new activity, and that new activity is shown in detail chronologically in app. So it's pretty easy, and it doesn't require you to manually input information into the product.
And how does it like specifically offset your emissions?
Yeah, so we partner with verified carbon offset and advanced carbon removal projects, and each one is verified by renowned third-party bodies such as Verra. They have the Verified Carbon Standard. There's also Climate Action Reserve and American Carbon Registry. So we have a pretty wide range of projects. We show a few of them on our website, but we also have forestry projects, wind projects, hydro projects, and energy efficiency projects. And we also partner closely with innovative new technologies like a company called Charm Industrial that captures carbon from biomass waste and stores it permanently underground. So quite a wide range. Our philosophy there is that every project type has pros and cons. So we like to have a diversified approach there. And I think that that's generally what we've seen with customers as well. They're looking for to cover different strengths and weaknesses with project choices.
And then with like the larger kind of enterprise, customers, right? I really, when I was having the conversation with you earlier, I love the idea around, large enterprise using your app as a way to engage employees and almost get like some sort of, competitive culture or, this transformative culture where, people are conscious of their carbon footprints and trying to improve it and trying to compete with each other. Can you talk a little bit around, if I didn't steal your thunder in my own little pitch, how you see that unfolding and the companies that may be online, how they could, work with you to roll something like that out?
Yeah, definitely. So overall, our goal is to help employees build an intuition around carbon, and we want them to be bought into your carbon targets. So if you talk to most employees, even at companies that have ambitious goals, people don't understand even what 1 ton of carbon is, and they're the ones making these important decisions as these companies march toward net zero. So building that intuition is really important. I talked about the Fitbit analogy in my pitch, and how we're essentially building a product that helps you track carbon in the same way you would track footsteps or calories. And what we've seen within companies is that first we had that fitness and wellness boom, where products like Fitbit and Strava not only had a huge impact on the consumer side, but then made their way into companies. And so I'm sure many of you watching have had fitness challenges, wellness challenges within your companies where you'll use those types of products in order to, get people excited and aware of how important health and wellness is. And that aligns with like broader company goals. And most recently, we've seen this with mental health and wellness products like Calm and Headspace. And so you'll notice like our product is very consumer focused, similar to like a Fitbit or a Strava in the health and wellness category, or mental health products like Calm and Headspace. And our goal really is to take that energy and that investment that we're seeing in climate and sustainability with companies and bring it to employees. And give them a product and an experience and take them along that journey with you. And products like Fitbit and Strava, Calm and Headspace have done a really good job at that. And so our goal is to be that product for sustainability and climate within companies.
Really, really love that. And finally, just because you've got, those celebrities, I have to ask, right? And I think it's almost, for audience members that may not know about the NFT space, as much as our startups here tonight. Why is it a big deal that celebrities are offsetting the carbon of of minting these products? Why is this happening? Why is it important to them, and how are you attracting such big stars to use your product to solve the problem in the I want to say energy that's being used to mint and whatever else? Can you just kind of explain the NFT component?
Yeah, so we do have an NFT and crypto product that we launched about a year ago, and it's been really popular. And the goal is really similar to our mobile and B2B product, which is to take that data, that information, and make it really friendly and accessible to people. So whether it's your transportation and home energy within our mobile product, or you want to look at the carbon footprint of your NFTs in your crypto wallet, we make it really simple for you. So it's a web app that you can use. And we also have APIs that support NFT platforms. And what has been really attractive to some of our big partners like Calvin Harris and Shakira has been, how easy and accessible the product is, and how simple we make that information not just available, but comprehensive and understandable. And we give them really clear ways to not just like offset that carbon, but give them really easy ways to communicate what they're doing. So we've helped all of those celebrities and big brands understand the energy consumption around blockchain technologies like Ethereum and Bitcoin, and give them ways to offset it, give them ways to communicate it. So if you look at like Shakira's Instagram or Calvin Harris, you'll notice they've tagged with Ariel in those posts, because we've given them that information, that point of view, and help them, have a voice in the discussion. And so our hope is to help companies do the same and give them that information, that voice, and help them tell a story around how they're engaging, employees and getting everyone on board with their net zero goals.
Absolutely. It's a real statement. Thank you very much, Andreas, and to everyone that joined us. First, if you've got questions for Ariel beyond the demo day, please reach out. Vote for your favorite startups with your fake currency there, and get in touch with the founders. From everyone here at SBC, we'd like to say thank you for joining us, and join us for our FinTech demo day tomorrow. We've got a busy week here at SBC. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.